And I am C3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations. And this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
Excuse me, sir.
Put them back together right now.
Might I...
Call them sidekicks,
Don't get technical with me.
fools, or simply clowns. During his journey, the mythic hero was usually accompanied by one or more faithful followers.
That little droid and I have been through a lot together.
Faithful, if not always very helpful.
George Lucas is a smart man to know that you couldn't keep everything at the fever pitch of high emotion.
The possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Look!
You had to have comic relief in there to make the cake rise.
Now, there, I agree with you. I could do with a tune-up myself.
In R2-D2 and C3PO, you have the classic comedy team in terms of the thin guy and the fat guy. The fact that they just both happen to be robots.
Say 3PO. A R2-D2.
The droids strike me as going back to Abbott and Costello or Laurel and Hardy, the kind of knockabout stuff of old films where you needed somebody to provide slapstick and release.
We're doomed.
In physical comedy, because there's so much at stake that it would be oppressive if there weren't some kind of release.
This is madness.
C-3PO and R2-D2 give us a little bit of classic bumbling comedy shtick. There's always the stalwart hero, and then there's the guy next to him going, do we have to go in the dark place?
I'm not getting in there. I'm going to regret this.
When I first saw Star Wars, it was so hard to relate to what was happening. It was so not where I live. It's so not what I know.
Of course I'm worried, and you should be too.
As soon as you had those two characters show up, immediately you're laughing and you're comfortable and you think, now I know who I am. Now I know I can fit in here. I can live here because they're like me.
My obtuse little friend, you obviously have a great deal to learn about human behavior.
C-3PO seems more like us. Like, what would I do in that situation? I'd probably panic and run away, and that's what C-3PO does almost every time.
Just open the door, you stupid lump!
R2-D2 and C-3PO are a little beside the action, looking at it. So they are with us. They are observers, and they add framing and perspective.
No, I don't think he likes you at all. No, I don't like you either.
And so they also serve as a Greek chorus.
In traditional Greek drama, the role of the Greek chorus was, in a sense, to comment on the action. Throughout Star Wars, while other people are acting out the scene,
I'm going there to end this war.
C-3PO and R2-D2, they're commenting on it.
Well, he is under a lot of stress, aren't you?
If C-3PO and R2-D2 embody the character of the comic everyman, the amphibian Jar.R. Binks suggests another timeless archetype, the childlike innocent.
My carrying is ferret.
You know, I find that Jar.R. creature to be a little odd.
My carrying, weren't.
If we think of Greek and Roman comedy, there is a character called the Parasite, who is a Jar.R. Binks kind of tag-along person that is comic.
Now stay here and keep out of trouble.
Jar.R. Binks starts off as a rather silly character, not very responsible, but gains increasing roles of responsibility to the point that he becomes a member of the Senate. So we see him in a genuine leadership role. In a sense, he grows up in these films. And if you think of the children who might have related to him, they have, in a sense, grown up along with him.
But not all comic characters are innocents like Jar Jar, R2-D2, or C-3PO. Enter Han Solo's nemesis, the grotesque space gangster, Jabba the Hutt.
You tell that slimy piece of worm-ridden filth he'll get no such pleasure from us.
Jabba the Hutt represents greed and excessiveness. I think that's represented by his sheer physical excess, his sheer corpulence.
I can't bear to watch.
That I would argue with you, like Jabba is sexy, because what's sexier than the dude who's like risen to a position of power where he can just lay around, you know, and things happen in front of him, and he's that powerful and he's that rich, and yeah, he's a bit slobby, but I have to like Jabba the Hutt, because I'm shaped like Jabba the Hutt. And without Jabba, we never get to see Leia in a bikini, so thank God for Jabba the Hutt.
He is kind of a modern dragon. And what do the dragons of mythology do? They capture maidens, and they hoard gold. And the dragons hold those hostage.
Characters like Jabba also reflect potentially deadly obstacles along the hero's path. Obstacles that test and strengthen him on his journey.
That's a very prevalent motive in Greek myth, the hero becoming himself by being tested by various monsters. Hercules is made to go through these labors in order to become himself.
Another theme is the journey into the belly of the whale, as Campbell called it, which references Jonah being swallowed by a big fish in the Bible. So one sees that happening to the heroes throughout Star Wars as they're swallowed by large entities, which seems to suggest going to the deepest part of oneself. So there's a moment of darkness and there's a threat to the self.
The cave is collapsing.
There's no cave.
What?
Evil is a monstrous force swallowing our heroes. It's an experience of being in the belly of the whale.
The journey of the hero is very much one of overcoming doubt about themselves.
There's something not right here. What's in there?
Only what you take with you.
There's usually many times in which they have to overcome their worst fears. They have to confront their nightmares, basically.
We certainly have that bit of evil monster in all of us. This is why monster combat is so prevalent in the hero's journey narrative. We have to fight the monsters of outside circumstances, but we also have to fight those demons that come from our own heart.